today Marcus will be presenting the top 10 tips for successful video marketing. He's known as the Video Profit Strategist and is the owner of Video Profits brand, Video Experts brand, and an author of the forthcoming book that I can't wait to get, Video Marketing for Profit, 12 Proven Strategies for Accelerated Business Growth. Marcus has been in the video marketing industry for over a decade, okay? He has been behind the camera for 1,000 hours, no, for thousands actually of hours, and has personally seen what works and what does not work when it comes to clearly communicating in front of the camera. By leveraging the power of video, Marcus works with entrepreneurs, coaches and small business owners to clearly communicate their message so that they're seen as credible, authoritative and experts in their niche. So please welcome Marcus Seeger.
Wasn't that an amazing presentation from Natasha? This is somebody who is seeing the value in video in her business every day, and you saw the difference from that first video from what, 3 years ago to what she's doing now, and the reason that stuck with it is that she's getting the results. So video will improve your business in many, many ways. And what I thought I'd do tonight is pick out the top 10 tips that I've discovered over the last few years and share those with you tonight. However, from the conversations with what was happening there with Grace and Nat's presentation, I wrote down 3 notes as we were going through it, and I just thought I'd start with those actually first. So the first one was, a lot of the question about DIY or pro, and the way I see it is that often a combination of the two works really well. The pro end of video production is expensive. The DIY is cheap, but it doesn't always work. So if you're able to combine the pro strategy, so the reasons and what the content is behind the video, and then do it yourself to a level that looks, how should I say, that looks what like your clients are expecting to see from you. So if you've got a high-end brand, they're going to be expecting high-end videos. If you've got more of a DIY type of brand, then DIY videos is okay. So that was my tip there, is to look at the content as being the most important thing. And sometimes you might need to, a consultant in the video marketing or marketing to help you with that, but then go away and do it yourself in terms of actually getting that content. So that was my DIY or pro. Sometimes you can actually use both. So how does that sound? Like a good tip? Okay. The second one is, like only this month, Wednesday is now video day on UBS, which I think is an awesome idea. And that wouldn't have happened a couple of years ago. But the thing is that a couple of years ago, you could get away with that first video that Natasha put up. Like, that's okay, right? A few years ago. You put that up today, no one's going to watch more than 3 seconds of it, right? So my tip there with the Video Wednesday is, give it a go, yes, absolutely, but really strive to make the best videos that you possibly can. Gone are the days where you can just have your cat video or whatever on YouTube, like people will watch that because it was new and interesting. But today, people are expecting a much higher standard in video communication. So that's my challenge to you is, yes, take advantage of Video Wednesday, but think about the production values. And there's a few things that I can touch on later that can just help you lift that. Turning the camera this way from that way is a good start. So that was that tip. And the third one is, video is a lot of work. You need a lot of effort to actually get a video made, whether it's yourself or professional. But just keep in mind some of the benefits of the ROI. And what I mean by that is that if you make a video, you've got 3 sources of content there. And as we all know, in this world today, content is so valuable. So once you've made the video, you've also then got a transcript. So you've got a blog post. Okay? You can extract the audio and you've got a podcast. You know, so you've got 3 sources of fantastic content there out of the one production. And I just like you to keep that in mind when you're actually making videos, is how you can repurpose that content. And because creating content is hard, you know, we all struggle with keeping up with producing enough content. So that's a good trick. And in fact, I'll give you a little extra 4th bonus, is that often those blog posts, podcast, video series can then be packaged into other products that can be that can add value to your clients. You can create a series of videos like Nat did and package that. The blog post could become a mini ebook, for example. The podcast could become an opt-in. So you're leveraging that content in other ways in your business that I'm sure a lot of you are aware of already. So thank you. They were my 3 little ideas that I came up with as we were going through Nat's presentation. So thank you. Let's have a look at the slides here. So I actually have 2 brands. One is the previous one, which is Video Profit Formula, How Smart Entrepreneurs Get Seen and Heard, which is essentially actually an online video training resource for entrepreneurs, coaches, professional service providers. And then I also have Video Experts, which is servicing the medium to large organisations where I'm dealing with larger corporations. So I kind of bridge that world between corporate and small business, and I do that by Video Experts and Video Profit Formula by separating those 2 brands. So I've got a wealth of experience in corporate, and I'm bringing that through to small business. So hopefully you'll find this presentation useful. Did you know 51.9% of professional marketers worldwide name video as the medium with the best ROI? So in case you didn't believe that video will actually give you a fantastic return for making the effort, trust in the research. There's many stats like this, that professional marketers worldwide are encouraging their clients to use video as their #1 medium to communicate with their clients. So the first chapter in the upcoming book, video is the new black. You know, it is the medium to be using right now. Never before have we had the opportunity to broadcast our messages in such an effective way. Obviously, other forms of medium, photography, text, public speaking, these are all fantastic, and I certainly use them all myself, but video actually incorporates all these things, and there's many reasons for that. But everyone is making videos in this room, I believe, which is really, really good. Okay. So this is essentially what video can do. Obviously, it communicates its messages, and we talked about some of the benefits before. The one I like to come back to is that know, like, trust and buy formula. How many of you heard of that before with Ryan Dice? So video is a fantastic medium to get, your audience will know you, they will start to trust you. They will like you because they actually start to understand your content and become part of your tribe. They will then start to trust you, and then the 4th element, they will then be able to buy from you. And video can do this in a way that no other medium can. Right, no, like and trust buy. Okay, so a little bit, just briefly about my book. It is coming out in November on Amazon. It's 15 proven strategies for accelerated business growth, video marketing for profit. So I'm really excited to be launching this. It's been a year-long project, and thank you to Natasha for the original unpack process that we did way back earlier in the year. So look out for that. It's coming out on Amazon first, and then we'll have a paper copy launch in December. So tip number 1, and start with the end in mind. It's a Stephen Covey phrase. So what I challenge you to do with any marketing, but particularly with video, is work out what you want to achieve with that video. There has to be a very, very clear purpose and aim and outcome to strive towards, and everything that you do in that video is gearing towards that outcome. And that will mean that your video has a much better chance of being successful. Does that make sense to everybody? It's like, if you're just making a video because it's Video Wednesday and you feel like you have to put something up online, you know, is it really going to be clear? Is it really going to connect with your audience? Is it going to actually achieve what you want it to achieve? I'll use an example of the testimonials that we mentioned before. The clear objective there is to connect with people like that person, and the suggestion, and as we talked about before, is with testimonials, is rather than just have a whole bunch of testimonials that say, this hairdresser's great, you know, she's fantastic, come along and book. A much more strategic approach, start with the end in mind, is to look at some of the objections that that hairdresser might be getting from their clients. It might be price, it might be convenience, it might be, you know, are they any good? And then choose 3 clients that address each one of those pain points individually in a testimonial. So you're becoming much more clear, and your video becomes much more effective. Start with the end in mind. And know your audience. This is kind of marketing 101, isn't it? You know, it's like you have to know who you're talking to. What type of, it's your avatar. We all have this in the business. We all know who we're actually targeting. So bring that into your video as well. Like, Jane, if you're you know, working with women in particular, then knowing exactly who they are will help you build the video that's going to work for that audience. You know, it's going to maybe use some more feminine type colours and music even. What else would we use? You know, you're not as opposed to a male audience. You know, there's a gender difference there. And then you've got age groups. You know, is it an older audience, younger audience? What type of things are they interested in? So by knowing your audience, you can then tailor your video specifically so it resonates with that audience. How are we going so far? We're up to tip 2. Hopefully some little gems coming on. So this is a great one. Where does your business need some mojo? Now, where this comes from is a lot of people ask me, what video shall I make next? I don't know, but you know. And the way that you can find that out is by looking at your business and saying, where is my weak spot? What is it that I really need to overcome to take my business to the next level? Let's just go back to the hairdresser, for example, and the high quality, high paying. Okay, it might be price. How can I increase my prices? That's what's stopping me growing my business. Okay, well, let's look at video and how video can be used to overcome that. And that could be an example of video. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. But an example of that could be, you know, people aren't understanding your value proposition. They're not actually understanding what you're offering. What is the extra bit that you're giving to your audience or to your customers that people aren't getting? You know, you're not understanding that this hairdresser, you know, has been doing it for 25 years and has cut, you know, millions of hair and just knows exactly how to get that look. A video focusing on that will help that business grow in that particular area. So rather than just, you know, throw darts at a dartboard and hope your video is going to get a good return, just be very strategic about it. Does anybody have any questions about that? Does anyone have any examples maybe they'd like to share about, you know, something that's, I think maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more with the sales video.
Yeah.
That might be a good time. So thank you. Tip 4. Oh, sorry, you've got a question.
So, I've got an example for the hairdresser. I happened to watch this video at a conference once, and it was a bloody guy who was a hairdresser in LA, and he was charging $2,400 for a haircut. Now, he was a hairdresser for stars, and he was getting, you know, ready for the events, but the price is not really an issue when you have the client. More of the story.
Exactly. And imagine that, I mean, that's thousands of times the average, isn't it? And it's not because the haircut's really much better, it's everything else that videos.
There's a service around it. There was an experience having a haircut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what those high quality, high paying clients are always looking for, whether it's hairdressing or any other business service. Thank you. Define how video fits within your marketing strategy. I often have mentioned already that, I mean, let me start again. Everyone, just raise your hand if you have a marketing strategy. Okay? I mean, everybody has a marketing strategy. And what I'd suggest to do here is that look at ways that you can bring video and integrate it into your marketing strategy. So
like you mean like campaigns or videos that you may release?
That's right. So let's use an example. If you're running an event, you know, you've got a campaign behind the event. You've got the lead up to it, you've got your email list, you've got your advertising on Facebook, whatever it is that you're doing. Now ask yourself, how can I use video in that campaign? So rather than seeing video as a separate medium, that's like an add-on, you need to bring it into your marketing and it needs to be integrated. So for example, with an event, how many actually saw the video that I did for Facebook that introduced myself for this event? You know, so if you've got something coming up, you can create a video that actually, you know, gives people a really good reason why they should come. You know, and that can then be sent out through your social media strategy, can be integrated into your email campaigns, can be integrated. I think that's one of the keys with a successful video is just not having it as an add-on or a separate part of your marketing.
I was just going to say, at our author weekend, we teach in the pre-launch section of the education and the marketing around the book.
Yes.
We teach that they release every video for 12 weeks leading up to the book coming out. So the one that you saw earlier was the one for the weight loss when I did the book 3.5 years ago. And then the other one that you saw with the blooper was for the Ultimate 48-Hour Author. That's why I did 40 videos, because they were part of a series to keep selling my books before they came out. So that was the strategy.
Exactly. Yeah. So the video in a way was driving that marketing.
Yeah, there was a tip and it was valuable, but it was also go to the Ultimate 48-Hour Author website to get your pre-release copy. Yeah.
You can use it at the end as well to tease people with what they missed. You should come, you know, maybe you'll come next time because this is how awesome it was. Have a look, have a little snippet. As well.
And on that, I think thank you videos are fantastic. Like to you know, if somebody purchases from you or registers something or has a meeting with you, like to send some kind of thank you message via video is very, very effective. And people remember it because it's unusual. You know, at the moment, not many people are doing that. And you can easily integrate that. So if if somebody buys something online, and you're going to send them an email saying thank you. You know, so just incorporate video into that. Email. See how we go. Tip number 5. Tell a story. You know, like when you're watching videos, what the videos that you engage and connect with often will have a story behind them. And everybody has their own personal story. They have their business story, they have their product story, they have their book story. You know, we've all got these stories. And if you can weave that into your videos, then you're going to have a much better connection with your audience and with your potential customers. And one of the most simplest ones to do is the why am I in business story. You know, it's like everyone is unique and everyone is coming from a unique place when they're creating a business. And everyone here has different businesses, and like, why have we chosen that particular business? There's a reason behind it, and your customers want to know that reason. People buy from people, they don't buy from businesses. They want to know the stories behind the businesses. And this is nothing new. I mean, we do it with books all the time. We tell stories in our books about who we are and what we do, personal journeys. But I'm just asking you to think about translating that into the visual medium with video. Tip 6, choose a presenter that will resonate most with your viewers. Now this is interesting because it's like we automatically assume that we're the business owner, we should be in front of the camera. And most of the times I would absolutely agree. But the question I ask here is, maybe, just maybe, the person that represents your business on video might actually be somebody else. They might actually be one of your customers, for example. They might have a much better effect at talking about your business than you ever will. Another example could actually be maybe a professional presenter. There's lots of training that we can do to build up our practice and to get better at being on camera, but some of us just can't do it. And it actually detracts from their brain. So maybe at some point you can consider bringing in a professional to speak on camera. So choose a presenter. And the other thing is, who's your audience? Like if I'm, I'm in my mid-40s, if I've got a business that's attractive, that's appealing to the teen audience, for example, do you think I'm the best person to be on video to talk to that audience? No. I'm much better off getting someone in that age group to communicate. So, just a subtle thing here, but it's like our audience is wanting to connect with the people in the video. So just try and think about who that audience is and who you are. I think most of us here would be the right people to be in these videos, but I just wanted to throw it out there. That's tip number 6. Tip number 7, getting through them. Research your delivery platform. Like that sounds a little bit scientific, a little bit technical, but don't worry. Basically what it's saying there in this tip is where are you going to get the most leverage? Like what space is your customers and your audience consuming their media? For Natasha and UBS, it's Facebook, absolutely number 1. And that's exactly where all Nat's videos are. YouTube is the back end of them, but a lot of them are on Facebook. Your audience might be on Twitter. Okay, so you would have a different approach to Twitter. You might be looking at Vine, for example, which is connected very much so. If your audience is, let's have a look.
What about LinkedIn?
Sorry?
What about LinkedIn?
LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn, I think basically YouTube becomes the delivery system, but LinkedIn becomes the where it's consumed. I think a lot of people use YouTube as the easy way to host their videos, and it works effectively.
Can I just ask, I've noticed, I think, videos uploaded to Facebook directly are getting more, they get shown more than a video from YouTube. That's why I've stopped. Only if I'm stuck and I haven't done a live video then that day to upload, I would share an old video from my other ones just so I can, share some value. But is that true? Like, do you think,
pretty much. From what I've seen with Facebook is that
preferring
there's some incredible
their own video system.
Let's try and remember something like
5% of your likers see any post.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking of something. I was thinking some statistic like 10,000 hours of YouTube is watched on Facebook every second, or something like that. Okay, and Facebook know this. Facebook has seen everybody using YouTube to watch their videos, and they've gone, hang on, we want to keep the ecosystem here. Let's start adding some value to our customers, adding their own video within Facebook. And how have they done that? They've done that with autoplay. You know how you're scrolling through your feed and the videos will start autoplaying? That applied originally across the board to any type of video, YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, it didn't matter. Until about 2 weeks ago, it's only Facebook. So the incentive is there to start. Like the one I uploaded, I did it through Facebook.
And it chews up the data on your mobile too.
Well,
going to YouTube or
it's
no, because it's autoplay.
What was the thing that you said, Marcus, about when you start the video? Like, you said because it does that
autoplay.
The autoplay. Did you say something about that? A tip around that?
Actually, well, I guess the thing there is that you're trying to encourage people to actually click the sound and listen to the video instead of just keep scrolling quickly to avoid the bandwidth, right? So what you can do in that first kind of 3 seconds is be very visual, because people aren't listening to what you're saying. And that might involve graphics, for example, just a simple graphic of what the video is about, and you being particularly, you know, engaging with your audience. So yeah, I reckon and that's the case with a lot of videos anyway, you've only got a very short period of time to engage, but with the autoplay feed in YouTube, in Facebook, you know, you're missing that audio.
So is that when you you load a video onto Facebook, you know, it says, you make a comment, it says attach a video, is that what you mean? Rather than a link to it, YouTube?
Yeah, that's right.
When you,
Yeah.
I think on the photo
it'll look
and
the same.
select your video.
Yeah, so you upload it directly.
Yep, directly.
So do you think that from the difference that they've made a week ago, that as people look at Facebook, you're saying that if they scroll down it starts to start, their videos are going to get to watch more than the YouTube
Yes.
videos?
Yes.
Because the YouTube video will just sit there as
They don't
a
want
just sitting there doing nothing.
It's got to be someone to just click on it
Yeah.
to start it, whereas
Yeah.
theirs already started.
Because you can keep sharing it anyway.
Facebook just hates links overall. I generally make a post, then I put the link in the comment, thinking that it's going to get shown to more people.
Yep.
That's how I tried to trick it. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
working.
It's always changing, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It works
Yeah.
today, it won't necessarily work. I mean, I think
Yeah, it's all about interactions. The more likes and comments you get, the more percentage of people see it. But if you don't get any, 5%, it's like strictly 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
That's going to go down more, I think. I
Yeah.
think it's going to really become a pay-to-play space, Facebook. We've had a pretty good free ride up until now, but I think that engagement is key, but we're going to have to pay for the privilege more and more.
But the good thing about video content is that it is shareable. You know, it's one of the things that people will quite regularly, more than other medium, they will say, hey, check out this video, and it just adds more dynamic content to, you know, your own personal feed. It's like, you know, we used to use photography mainly, and part of the restriction, you know, I get back to that point about the, you know, internet usage, particularly with most of us using mobile devices to access Facebook more than any, you know, we're not sitting at home on our desktops anymore. You know, data, one of the things that is happening is that the compression technology is getting better and better to make those videos smaller in terms of file size, you know, particularly over the last few years. So that will continue, but at the same time, screens are getting bigger, you know, so we're moving into, you know, so there's always that kind of balance, you know. Most of what I post is, it's all in HD, but it's not posted, it's downscaled specifically. There's another question over here, yes.
Thanks. Just regarding your delivery platform, Vimeo was is still very strong for the corporates and the artists.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
the film community.
the branding now has really gone towards the artistic side as well as the really high-end quality.
Yeah.
The downside is because it is that high quality, it takes time to load, and but I don't know if you've got any opinion
Well,
on that.
YouTube used to be horrible for quality. You know, it really has upped its encoding to match Vimeo, I feel. YouTube is firewalled in a lot of corporates as well, so that's why another reason people are using alternative deliveries.
You're talking about capturing, what about capturing your own screen? Is that Vimeo and YouTube, is that what you use?
Well, I guess Vimeo and YouTube are delivery platforms, so it's where you would host the videos instead of posting them on your own server. So to capture screens, it's software, you know, so
Screen-enabled.
Camtasia,
Camtasia.
I'm just doing QuickTime.
QuickTime. There's quite a lot of ways to do it, but how do you get that video for everybody to watch? It needs to be hosted somewhere. I'm going to say Vimeo. I don't know if it. Who knows Vimeo? So a few people. One thing you may have come across is that they now have what do they call it? It's like a pay-per-view. So you can actually privatize content that's only available when someone pays for it. So this is great for the filmmaking community because they can now make small, short films and charge for people to watch it. But there's no reason why you couldn't use that for protected content. So you're not getting that, oh, I'll share the link with my friend to watch this video. Well, they can't do that. So they have to actually pay for that content to view it. So that might be down the track. So social media and video, I mean, it really is a massive, massive topic. It's something that I think we'll continue to explore because it's only growing. 10 more minutes, including the review? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. We'll drop to number 7. Number 8, determining your metrics that define ROI, return on investment. It's like what is going to make the video in your mind successful or not? And some of the metrics that you might use is how many times it's shared on Facebook, or how many sign-ups do you get from the video, or how many subscribers do I get? Like how many times has it been watched? You know, like you have to just pick 1 or 2 metrics that will actually, in your own, you know, defining ROI. It's like we make these videos, but we want to know that they're actually working for us. So that's my tip there, is just to be aware of what you want from this video. Because if it's to subscribe, it's a very different type of video to just getting it, you know, to share. You know, there's two different reasons for making a video. Number 9. So this is what Nat was talking on about. Know when to DIY and when to get the pros in. And I think that's what I touched on before about the fact that I think you can mix it. You can mix it up. And the way that I, you know, the key factor here that determines one or the other is what your audience expects. You know, if your audience expects a professionally made video, don't give them a DIY video. If your audience is expecting a DIY video, don't waste money on pro video. It's as simple as that. You have to find out what your audience is expecting. And that might be by watching what your competitors are doing to that same audience. And only you can work that out. So I'm not here to say you should get a pro in or you should DIY. I think you need to look at each video specifically and your business, but particularly your audience. I think that's the key word. Just do it, you know, and we all are. You know, I didn't know how many people would be making videos or having them done professionally, and congratulations to you all because you are doing it. You know, and I think that's really, really valuable, and you're ahead of your competitors in many ways, but they're all catching up. You know, so this is where things like improving the general quality of the productions, improving the reasons why you're making these videos, improving your communication, improving understanding how, you know, what metrics. So all these things will improve your videos and just keep you ahead of everybody else as they continue to catch up. All right, so they're my top 10 tips. Plus really what I was saying before about, that's really all included. I think, you know, there's lots of information out there about video, about actually how to make videos. I actually don't really delve into that world. I think YouTube is actually a fantastic resource. There's lots of content. You know, if you've got an iPhone, search iPhone video maker in YouTube. If you've got a Galaxy, search for Galaxy. You know, you can really drill down to what type of equipment that you already have and find that information on YouTube. So I'm here to share, which I hope I had tonight, is more about the strategies. But one thing I will point out about creating content is lighting and sound. And I will actually throw in background as another option. You know, those 3 things, if you can think about them before you start making your videos, whatever tools you're using will make a big difference. So for example, thinking about whether it's busy or quiet in the background and how that suits your audience. Like, it might suit some audience to have a crazy, chaotic background, you know, or it might suit them to have a beach. Again, it's all about what your audience is going to connect with. and lighting, you can use natural light really, really well. And you've got a big window like this, if you're kind of positioning yourself so it's kind of side on, you know, you've got a massive key light there that's just giving a really nice shape to the face. So using natural light is really good. Obviously not silhouetting directly to the window or shooting where it's just flat. If it's just straight on, it's going to be very flat. So using side light is really great. And sound, you can't really use these smartphones without some kind of microphone. You need to mic yourself in some way, whether it's with a little lapel mic that goes to the camera or a wireless system, or even an actual some other boom mic or something like that. So sound is very, very important. We will often forgive shaky video or underexposed or overexposed, but we very rarely forgive bad audio. People will stop watching it straight away. But in this next video, there is no bad audio, there is no bad lighting. It is all absolutely fantastic, which is, now we're going to actually, we're going to change back to the other machine to play some sound. So this video was created for Natasha's 48-hour author weekend program.
Can I just ask, can you get a microphone that does plug into an Android phone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. One that I've come across that's very good is by Rode, R-O-D-E, which is an Australian company, and they make fantastic audio gear. So basically that just plugs into where the headphone socket is in your phone, and there's I think it's a 2-meter cable, so you can just clip it onto a piece of clothing.
You might recognise one lovely lady, I think it's one lovely lady in this video. Ah, two, actually.
Three.
There's three.
You can use your headphones.
Oh, yeah. 3 people are in this video.
They're really good. You can just put it up on your shirt.
Do you want to turn the light up?
So what we're going to do is play this video. A few of you have already seen it.
3 minutes.
Probably in Manhattan.
Who's seen this video? Yeah, less than half the room. Yeah, okay.
And then we're going to kind of do a quick dissect on why we made it this way.
Yeah. Imagine you, a published author. Have you heard lately that everyone seems to be writing a book? Well, they're not doing it, they're just talking about it. We are changing the face of authoring success. We are after 100% results. 10 authors locked away for 48 hours, and a few short months later, 10 published books. Now that will see their business soar. So how do we do it so fast? Gone are the days of slaving away in front of the computer. If you know your stuff, you can talk about your stuff. If you can talk about it, you will, and in 7 short hours, a 40,000 word book will be verbalised for someone else to type up. The Ultimate 48-Hour Author Weekend is not just about writing the book. Walk away with business explosion education through our teach segments. You bond with the 9 other authors and have a community to share your experience with, and you still get to enjoy the luxury accommodation and surrounds of the properties we hire. I'd like to share with you what 3 of our recently published authors have to say about the Ultimate 48-Hour Author experience.
I'll thoroughly recommend the Ultimate 48-Hour Author program. When I looked at what the cost was and then compared that to how much it would cost me if I was to do it myself, and valuing the time that I would have to put into it over the months or years that people typically do this, it was really a no-brainer to just go and do it. And now I've got the book in my hands.
The biggest challenge I had was making sure that I had the support of my partner. So with that support, it was great. And the end result is we've got our book in print and we're both loving it.
3 things I would love to share with you about the 48-Hour Author Weekend. Number 1 is that by committing to this weekend, you're really putting yourself in the fast lane. It's accelerated results. Number 2 is that you are getting amazing mentorship and support throughout the whole process. And number 3, and the most important, is that you're kept accountable. Within 4 to 6 months, there's no excuses. You will have your very own book.
It's inspiring and unforgettable. We look forward to having you at the next Ultimate 48-Hour Author Weekend. But first, you must complete a 20-minute book strategy session to make sure that you have what it takes to get your book done and become a published author. Take action now, as there are only 10 spots available at each of our weekends. Contact us to book your appointment today, and let's make you that author you've always wanted to be. This is simple, this is easy, oh my god, this is fun!
How good was that? Did it make you want to find out more information about the weekend?
Why do it again?
She says that every time she watches the video.
You know, it just makes you want to jump on that website and...
Makes me want to do it again.
and why is that? It's emotional. We're showing, not telling. I think that's the key here. You know, our main focus was to show what it's like to experience.
We're
that.
selling the why.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not selling what and how. We're selling the why. Because we did do version number 1 was 10.5 minutes long, and it had the why and the what. And I just he sent it to me, and I was in Target with my son who was playing it, and I just watched it, and I was just really flat after it. And I don't know, Marcus. I don't know what it is, and I actually tested it with some people that we had a. I think we can turn that off. Is there a? No, I think. Sorry, over there. Yeah. And then I said, cut it down. No one's going to be bothered sitting through a 10-minute video, so we cut it down to 3.5. I said, let's just sell the experience. The what, they can come and talk to me afterwards. They can qualify. I can explain everything, and so then we rejigged it. What other things did you guys notice in that video?
The music was very
really
uplifting.
gives it energy.
Yeah.
It was all like possibility, future.
And the build-up?
Yeah,
Oh.
build up, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good pickup because we you know, when we're watching videos like that, we're actually noticing the sound more than we're noticing the vision. So music plays a massive part in it. You know, if you just got some, you know, I mean, you have to pay for good music. You know, I mean, typically we spend maybe about $50 to license royalty-free music, so it's not a huge expense, but it makes a massive.
Call to action at the end.
Yes, call to action. Yeah.
Absolutely must. In any marketing, but
scarcity. And scare people. We took away 14. My bad. At that time when we were making it, that was our goal, you know, and certainly it's full on doing a big group, but yeah, scarcity. Yeah. And
There are different reasons for different testimonials for different reasons, which is what Nat's written down.
well spotted.
Yeah. Objections of time and money, partner, like will my partner approve? That's a big one. We asked our authors what was stopping them, and these were the 3 things. And then the hand-holding, Des's one was about like, you know, can I trust you enough to support me through this process? Yeah. Anything else? The power words, sell them what they want.
So the graphics included. So the graphics reinforcing what you were saying. The points.
That's it. I mean, video is a moving motion image. You know, we can use graphics, we can use words, we can use cartoons. You know, there's lots of different mediums you can mix in with video. Don't always think that it just has to be the talking head.
And like 4 different locations we had. We actually added that bridge separately. I said, I think it needs something more because we were just in that room. And then we went out to the bridge and we recut it. It really did, we did do quite a few.
And this is quite common. It's like we'll have a script, we'll have an idea, but until you actually start making it, it's like, you know, there is a recipe, but it often will change. You know? And then I think we went through 2 or 3 revisions, you know, before we started getting close. You know, and that's quite common, so almost expect that. You know, if you get it first time, fantastic, you know, but be prepared for some work to get it.
Especially the professional one, that if you're going to invest, you want to get it right, and certainly return on investment.
And then we also did some feedback, didn't we? We tested it.
Well, that's the 10-minute one. I did a workshop in that other room here, and it was in front of 20 Melbourne people, and that even when me taking them through the table of value of what's included, so that's why I was saying we were selling also the what in it, and then once we removed it, because we did all the talking over and all that, it was just really full. I think we overwhelm people, and you know what they say, a confused mind will always say no. This video needs to tap into the emotional centre where they go, I can do this. It looks simple, easy and fun.
And I think also you can utilise the knowledge of linguistics. And in the video that you showed with the walking over the bridge, in my brain I was going, there's always a gap between this side and that side for people to pick that they can be an author. So you've walked over the bridge, you've actually unconsciously taken them on. Oh, I didn't.
Thank you. Yes, that was
But you do think that way unconsciously.
Nice. No, I get it.
I think it's a great,
great pickup.
We're understanding the language of film and motion pictures a lot more these days, but we don't always get it, you know, and it's just those subtle things where we just, you know, it's very good.
Anything else you want to tell the guys about the video? Or?
I think for me, like you mentioned the 4 locations, I think to actually go down to for the weekend and actually film it as people were speaking their book and doing the training and then the testimonials, actually, you know, and then afterwards, that was key for me to then have I've done it, we're celebrating, you know, so you show something that, you know, oh, I like the look of that, you know.
So a little bit of an insight into the behind the scenes was excellent. So it reinforces that it's actually tangible and it has been done.
It's so hard to explain it with words when I say Ultimate 48-Hour Author, and I just go, here's a 3.5-minute video, let's talk after you've watched it. That's it. Oscar?
I'm not sure if you covered this because I went outside, but how much footage do you need in order to create something like that with 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes? Like, are we talking hours?
It really depends how much pre-planning there is.
Sure.
You know, I tend to work on about anywhere between 1 to 4 to 1 to 10. So 1 minute, if you're going really well, you've got in 4 minutes of content, but it can quite easily be 10 or 20. So it depends what if you're shooting more of a documentary Q&A style. I've got as bad as 1 to 100. So it just depends how scripted it is. In some ways too.
If you were to put a promotional video like that on your website, would it be 3.5 minutes or would it be shorter than that?
Okay, that's a fantastic question. You know, how long should a video be? And the really, you know, I know there's a lot of talk about it shouldn't be that long, you know, but I think it needs to be as long as it needs to be. You know, if it needs to be 20 seconds, just make it 20 seconds. If it needs to be 15 minutes, it's okay, you can make it 15 minutes. So it's, the rule of thumb is 2 to 3 minutes, or even 1 to 3 minutes.
I'm using that.
I reckon a lot of content can be really short. You know, all the little warm-up videos. But then the main attraction, people are invested and enjoying and getting value out of what the video is. TED videos, everyone knows TED, they're 18 minutes. How many of them watched a full 18-minute video all the time?
That was the point I was going to make, sorry. I was scrolling through a coach in America today, and on her website was a clip to a video that was actually 30 minutes long, and I just went, I'll just watch it, because when I watched it, then it made me understand more where she was coming from, even though it wasn't her.
Like if you're just about to spend, you know, $20,000 with a coach, you're going to sit through a 30-minute video quite easily, you know.
But also where she was coming from, it wasn't even
you've
her.
Understood.
It really helped.
Yeah, okay.
Where she was connecting.
The shortest video is Vine, 6 seconds. looping, I must admit that.
Karen, you know something?
Oh, no.
So this duration, you know, we had a goal of roughly what we wanted, but it just ended up being that length because that's what the length was.
Cool. Any last questions before we do cool door prizes and we tell you what's coming up next?
Marcus, one thing I noticed right at the end when Nat was talking to camera, it must be at the beginning, but I noticed at the end, was looking at her and the vibrancy of your delivery, absolutely, but also getting distracted because maybe it was just a question about why the background was out of focus, because there were words, and I was trying to read the one over her on the left-hand side.
Success in Excel.
Success, Excel, couldn't read it.
Yeah.
So
the reason, I guess the reason we use depth of field is to control where the viewer is watching.
Okay.
So really what we wanted you to do was actually focus
on the message, yeah.
So we could have shot it with complete depth of field where you can see everything.
Yep.
But
you know I was standing in a potty. In my tiny little office, we needed to elevate me to get the right angle, and we had me on my kid's potty. I was really stiff, I couldn't move around very much, but that was funny. Yeah. And we had the books in the background. What I like to do, a little tip from before when you say, I like to take my videos from higher up, because they don't give you the double chin. Just for you ladies, okay? And
well, it's much better than from down here.
Yeah, so I always do this. Okay? So just a little tip because and also this is my better side, so I always kind of hold it. You've got to know these things. It's valuable. Yeah? It's valuable. Yeah, cool. So, was that useful, valuable, and lots of tips? Yeah? Can we have 3 ahas before we had one about the text message video?
Yeah.
What another 2? Here you go.
Well, I actually like the one where he mentioned about the thank you. Because I always, depending on how I got, I'll send people an email or a Facebook message.
Yeah.
But now this has just given me a bright idea that tomorrow morning I'm going to be very busy.
Nice.
Yeah, I just,
For me, I realise it's all about emotions, and I think the most powerful one is the one that brings a lot of emotions out. And I've been watching Brent Bouchard's and loving his video because he's so authentic and so real.
Yes.
I think that's really important.
And one more, so the emotion and the why, and Phil?
For me it was the one where you're saying about using YouTube, the unlisted, as a subscription.
Yeah,
without actually
sell the footage, Often I'll look at all my videos, you guys, you know what I do is I go, okay, so which 3 or 4 can I select and create a sexy name bundle, and then I put it up for $47, valued at whatever, $3.97, really, put up, and we sell 5, 10 of them. And Stuart and I like to call off a day our weekend spending money day because we'll generate about $500–600 worth of sales, and that's like our weekend pocket money. So, and I just pick them and I just put something together and